Welcome to part 12D. Capcom and their producer Takeru Fujiwara and artist Kenji Inafune would come back again with another Mega Man game called Mega Man 2, released in 1988. The game was a large improvement over the first game, especially in the West, where the difficulty setting was put in place to offer some hope to gamers not blessed with godlike gaming prowess. Also notable in the game was the music, which was really good and catchy in the game. Mega Man would continue on with sequel after sequel on the NES, each offering more and more rock-hard gaming action. Capcom's Takeru Fujiwara and Kenji Inafune wouldn't do just Mega Man games, they would also bring out other classic platformers on the NES. One of my favourites was DuckTales, released in 1989. This had you play Scrooge McDuck on a quest to find treasure around the world. Also released was Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, as we knew it in the UK. As somehow the government watchdogs thought that the word ninja would corrupt our minds, but watching, talking, weapon-wielding turtles was absolutely fine. To those not able to remember back to 1989, how I envy you, it's difficult to appreciate how huge the turtles were back then. And when Konami got the license, they knew that the game would be huge. They would release the great arcade game, more of that next episode. But for the home computers and consoles, they would release a totally different platform game for the home machines. The home game was really tough, and had you play the 4 turtles as you made your way to the Technodrome to defeat Shredder and rescue Ape, the game would be a massive success, selling 4 million copies and being ported to pretty much every home system. Also in 1989, David Crane would help new company Absolute Entertainment, which was made up of ex-Activision staff, with the game A Boy and His Blob. In the game you had to play a boy with his pal Blobert as he made his way from Earth to Blob's planet Blobalonia to defeat the evil Emperor. The game was really ingenious, with Blob changing shape depending which flavour jelly beans you fed him. This really added to the puzzle element of the platform action and made this game compelling fun. Also in 1989, Downtown Neketsu Monogatari was released, or better known in the West as River City Ransom. This was a continuing part of the Renegade series and had you play 2 school kids, Alex and Ryan, as they tried to rescue their girlfriend from the evil villain called Slick. The game is really worth tracking down if you've never played it before, as it really interestingly mixes RPG elements and beat-em-up action to the game, and it is a hidden gem for Westerners to discover. In 1990, Nintendo, never shy to milk a licensing cow, would release a nice puzzler called Dr. Mario. In the game you had to move and rotate falling capsule pills. Get more than 4 in the same colour in line with the virus, and the virus would die and disappear, taking out the pills as well. In 1991, Acclaim on the NES and Ocean for all other formats would release Bart Simpson and the Space Mutants. This was the other must-have license game of the time, and had you played the Dude Man himself, who was on a quest to save Springfield from the alien invasion. Designed by Gary Kitchen, the game had it where Bart has found some specs. Let him be the only one to see the aliens. Sounds a bit like They Live then. Strangely, to defeat the aliens, Bart must turn purple items red by various ingenious methods. The game was really tough, but great fun, with loads of neat touches in the game that added to the atmosphere of the TV show. In 1989, the Sam Coupe was released by Miles Gordon Technology in Swansea, who had made a name for themselves releasing add-ons for the Spectrum. The machine really was a lovely thing, with nice colourful graphic games and the ability even to emulate Spectrum games. But with limited games being released, such as Impatience and Parallax, it never really stood a chance. One thing notable was their mascot called Sam the Robot. He was a cute little chap that I've always had a soft spot for, and that's why he's my image on YouTube. Of course, these weren't the only 8-bit consoles attempting to break the market. Many of the big home computer companies in the UK also tried to take on the might of Nintendo themselves, and of course they all failed dismally. In 1990, Alan Sugar's Amstrad console would be released, called the GX 4000. Based on the CPC, used cartridge games instead of tape. The console would only be manufactured for a couple of months before manufacturing would stop altogether. However, in its short life, 40 games were released for the console, and for Amstrad retro lovers, it's a really nice way to conveniently play some of the 8-bit classic games, such as Burning Rubber and Barbarian 2. Also in December 1990, Commodore would have its first stab at entering the console market themselves with the Commodore G64 GS or C64 GS. This again was basically a Commodore 64 with game cartridges and no keyboard. It was only released in Europe, and like the GX 4000 quickly died a few months later, with this console and the GX 4000 being quickly stomped on by all the new 16-bit hardware being released at the same time. Nothing new was particularly released on the Commodore 64 GS system, although I do quite enjoy Last Ninja, as that's always good fun. Well, that wraps it up for this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. As we wave goodbye to the 8-bit home computer world, wave hello to the 16-bit world next episode. But it won't all be over for the 8-bit world, because I'm going to do another video that just shows a musical medley of some of the other games on the 8-bit world that I really wanted to include, but didn't have time to include on the main videos. So until next time, see you later.